कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, PM sets 30-year climate target. Alleged wife killer labeled violent person. And COVID-19 puts undue stress on health system.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
But leading the bulletin tonight, Ratu Kandavu level school students have staged a protest against the school principal Arvind Prasad. FBC News believes some students are playing in 2 provincial under-19 rugby teams after verbal approval by the principal. It's alleged that these same students were later expelled after the principal had changed his decision. Pupils then retaliated, staging a protest at the RKS grounds this afternoon. Police will look into the issue, and spokesperson Ananai Soro says officers will also maintain safety and security. Minister for Education Rosie Akbar confirms that a team from the ministry is also at the school and students have gone back to their various dormitories. A fire broke out this afternoon at the Quartz outlet in Nadi town. FBC News contacted Quartz Fiji Limited, who say they cannot make any comment on how the fire started. Firefighters are still at the scene. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro confirms their officers as well as NFA personnel on the ground are attending to the incident. Naisoro adds officers are also trying to control traffic and the movement of people. Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama says by 2050, Fiji can and should become the hub of travel, trade, ICT and development. This was highlighted during the opening of the Fiji National Consultation Workshop on 2050 strategy of the Blue Pacific continent in Suva today. Bainimarama also applauded Australia's effort as they have assured access to the coronavirus vaccine in the Pacific once it emerges. Kritika Kumar reports.
The Prime Minister says there is a need to harness the spirit of regional collective action.
And I believe, despite the incredible challenges before us, it is our people who can emerge as the country's most powerful drivers of change.
Bainimarama stressed that there should be no excuses and every economy in the region must achieve net zero global emissions in the next 30 years.
By 2050, we must have built a resilient Pacific, one that is adapted to the worsening climate impacts we know are headed our way. By 2050, our region's oceans must be secured by powerful protections that preserve their bounty and beauty for all time.
Fiji has also opened Pacific pathways to Tuvalu, Kiribati and Tonga, extending a lifeline of passenger air travel at a time when it's badly needed.
We can't be overly constrained by protocol. Sometimes we must be blunt about what we expect, and we must continue to push and prod our partners within this forum and beyond to achieve the future we know is right and know is possible.
The Prime Minister says next year Fiji will host the Pacific Islands Forum as chair as it enters its 5th year. Bainimarama added that with borders shut due to health restrictions, PIF nations have worked together to charter flights from around the world, including high-risk countries, to safely repatriate our people. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama says the government is doing all it can to support landowners during these trying times. But this started even before the impacts of COVID-19 gripped our economy. Bainimarama made these comments on Radio Fiji 1 program Non the Prime Minister, where he was asked on his opinion as to why many landowners are not cultivating their lands nor giving it for lease to earn a living. Apanisa Wangarundovu with the details.
The Prime Minister says there is no doubt that the government is doing what it can to support landowners as well as farmers.
There's a lot of assistance that the government is providing, especially for landowners and also farmers. And I can only hope more Fijians will come forward to utilize this assistance, which in turn will help improve their standard of living.
Bainimarama believes many Fijians are still in the dark when it comes to what government offers and could be one reason they have not been assisted.
I believe most of these landowners are practically not aware or are confused with what government offers. We have done a lot of awareness regarding this assistance, and landowners need to do their part and come forward.
He says not giving up lands for lease is a choice, but landowners need to be more open to opportunities.
Landowners not giving their land for lease or agricultural purposes go to show that they are not aware of what good will come out of it. So I plead to landowners to ask for advice from government officers and relevant stakeholders.
The Prime Minister has also pleaded on landowners to visit government online portal for information and not to be swayed easily by rumors. Apinisawan Grandovo, FBC News.
A 33-year-old man alleged to have murdered his wife following an argument in Angara Naita Siri 3 months ago has been labelled a violent person. Chosevata Koroi, who was charged with 1 count of murder, appeared in the Suva High Court today. Pranita Prakash has more.
It is alleged that on May 1st, Chosevata Koroi stabbed his 28-year-old wife to death. Koroi's lawyer made a bail application which was denied by the High Court. The state lawyer objected to the bail application because the allegation against Koroi is serious. The lawyer also told the court the deceased was allegedly stabbed 4 times and thus the accused is a violent person and will be a danger to the public. The state lawyer highlighted there is tension between the 2 families following the incident. The defense informed the court that his client is willing to relocate to Nandera if granted bail. The High Court judge said if found guilty, this offence carries a mandatory life sentence. Koroi's trial date has been set for March next year. The matter has been adjourned to 23rd October for a pre-trial conference. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Coronavirus has placed Fiji in an urgent need to be well equipped with essential medical supplies in order to deliver effective healthcare services. Health Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wangainambete, while receiving over $149,000 worth of medical supplies in Suva today, highlighted the donation will strengthen our COVID-19 response efforts. Kelly Vavala reports.
COVID-19 has put the health sector under a lot of stress in many countries, and donations such as these will go along with the Fiji.
We are well aware that there are challenges worldwide in terms of freight and other issues around, not only in terms of medical consumables and medicines, but also other things. So it's important for us to do just stockpile, make sure that we have quite a large surplus stock available.
Sheldon Yet says they're working with the ministry to ensure their supplies reach the most rural areas.
Today we gave supplies such as oxygen concentrators, supplies such as PPE, personal protective equipment, masks, all the supplies that are so important to keep health services running and to keep children, mothers and families safe.
Health Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wangainambete says the supplies are timely as they work to keep Fiji COVID-19 contained.
We're hoping to be able to spread it out to all our facilities. Whilst we have our isolation facilities for those who are sick with border quarantine COVID-19 in Nadi and Lotoka, we also have to continue to make sure that all our facilities continue to be ready.
Over 15,000 personnel protective equipment and medical supplies were handed over to the Health Ministry today, financed by the Asian Development Bank, the government of Japan, and procured by UNICEF. Kelly Vathala, FBC News.
Up ahead, Fiji chairs Forum Trade Leaders meeting and 80 practitioners to gather for dental conference.
मैं टोटलिया दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Trade Minister Fayaz Koya chaired a meeting of Pacific Island Forum Trade Ministers today to assess candidates vying for the position of Director General of the World Trade Organization. Koya highlighted that this is the first time that the Pacific states have actively participated in scrutining applicants. He adds this is the time to put forward the region's perspective on the way forward in global trade.
A long-running criticism of the WTO is that decisions are often taken by a handful of powerful nations, then presented to other members as a fait accompli. The incoming DG may not be able to remove power politics from the WTO, but they can change how debates and negotiations are structured.
80 dental practitioners will gather in Suva tomorrow to discuss issues affecting their industry during the annual Fiji Dental Association conference. Association President Vikash Singh says they're grateful of the support from donors as the pandemic has affected them as well. Venina Rakautonga has more.
$10,000 sponsorship from Colgate-Palmolive has helped the association conduct their annual conference.
The support from industry partners this year is varied. We have our traditional sponsors, especially from New Zealand, who this year are unable to be present at our conference.
Obviously, one of our strengths or pillars has been about supporting the professional and the dentist, and by way of education, by way of obviously sponsoring the conferences, because obviously in partnership is what we get.
Lal says they are keen to support oral health care in the country.
Together with this, we've had a lot of achievements together with the FDA in terms of getting the toothpaste standards done in a few years back in Fiji. In addition to that, I think just the profession itself, obviously with the oral health surveys.
Some of the issues that will be discussed at the annual conference include oral and dental health care, as well as issues affecting dental practitioners during this pandemic. A new president will also be appointed at the conference. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
The South Pacific Business Development, together with Quartz Fiji, today held a training on basic backyard gardening in Akasi. The aim of the training sessions was to share knowledge on basic farming up to commercial-grade farming. Fiji is vulnerable to natural disasters, and Quartz Fiji says home gardening will ensure uninterrupted food supply. It says with reduced working hours due to the pandemic effects, one can utilize their time for home gardening and save money. And turning to New Zealand, the Christchurch mosque shooting terrorist is now behind bars, beginning his life sentence. He arrived back in Auckland's Perimari prison last night. And Whitney joins us now with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. In business tonight, new supermarket for the hidden paradise. And in growing Fiji, over 291 million invested rural electrification projects. Stay with us.
Pula natang ko aprosa ng garse, ko erkraki, do televizyon na parang na Radio Fiji 1, nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1, nandomo ibiti.
The newly opened Suntec supermarket in Savu will not only benefit residents in the area, but has also created employment for at least 40 Fijians. Owner Shiu Sundar has invested around $1 million in the business and is confident his supermarket will thrive despite the current economic situation. Josiah Nanunga reports.
This is the fourth Suntec branch with 3 existing supermarkets already serving the northerners.
Since COVID-19 has effect and the business are all going down, but I have faith in the Lord, which has never put me down into this business.
Tuina Savu Ratu Apeni Salawondua is urging the public to support local businesses to create economic activity.
The opening of this new supermarket is a good indication of the rate of development happening in the hidden paradise, especially in these trying times when most businesses have collapsed. But seeing this new development has given some hope to the people.
Suntec is just like brought up all the people of the Count Rowe together, just because it is a bettermentship of our nation.
Suntec supermarkets are located in Wulobi and Tuatua in Lambasa, and 2 other outlets are in the Central Business District in Savu. The company is employing about 70 Fijians. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
Air New Zealand has reported its first financial loss in 18 years due to the COVID-19 travel restrictions. The majority state-owned airline has shed thousands of jobs and is unlikely it will return to its former glory. We now join Sinifa from HFC Bank with the latest in the money market.
The US dollar held gains against major currencies after the Federal Reserve's aggressive new strategy to lift employment while increased tolerance for higher inflation pushed US bond yields up. The Fed's new monetary policy strategy, unveiled at the start of an annual central banking conference, pledges to aim for 2% inflation on average. Powell's remarks on achieving full employment, one of Fed's dual mandates, came as new data suggested the labor market recovery was stalling as the COVID-19 pandemic drags on and financial aid from government dries up. For next week, traders should expect notable economic events from the Asian economies, especially the interest rate decision from the Reserve Bank of Australia and the Australian second quarter GDP numbers. That's all from HFC Bank for this week. Vinaka.
Looking at today's local exchange rates as set this morning, the Fiji dollar was pegged higher against both the Chinese yuan and the US greenback, and also made gains against the PNG kina, euro, and the yen. But as usual, when the US dollar is going down, the Fiji dollar also falls against regional currencies like the Aussie and Kiwi dollars. Commodities declined across the board. Crude oil prices declined, closing at $42.89 per barrel. Gold was down by $14.80, closing at $1,929 per ounce, and silver closed at $27.04 an ounce. The government has invested over $291 million in the past 11 years on rural electrification projects, while launching the Yasawa High School 30-kilowatt solar hybrid project on Naviti Island yesterday. Minister for Infrastructure Choneo Sumate said the extension of the electric grid is part of government's plan to ensure all Fijians have access to the reliable power by 2021. Usumate says the project will benefit 358 people, including 20 teachers' quarters, 16 school blocks, and 3 new houses.
This project will also enable your children to equip themselves with the technologies and learning tools such as computers, televisions, tablets, etc. This investment will improve the economic and social activities in the community, in your community, through things such as education, health, agriculture, telecommunication, and microbusiness.
That's it from Business Tonight. We now join Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Whitney, and good evening in Sports Tonight. Former flying Fijian assisting Thai level rugby. And Lambasa targets the full 3 points against Suva. There's some more coming up.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
Ball retention will be key for the Thai level rugby side, gearing up for tomorrow's Skipper Cup match against Naita Siri. After a rough start to the competition, the side is looking to maintain some consistency and climb up the points table. Taili Materakula reports.
Maintaining and capitalizing possessions is an area the Thai level rugby side is working on.
It's been a tough few weeks for Thai level since the beginning of Skipper Cup this season. There's so many things that Thai level team has been working on. A few areas that we've been lacking in is our set piece and ball retention. That is our focus.
The team is aware that coming away with a win against the physical Naita Siri side will be easier said than done.
Naita Siri has been winning all the games. We are really looking forward to a tough challenge against Naita Siri to set us up for the next few games that's coming.
Focusing on their overall performance, the Highlanders hope to maintain their top ranking stance.
Naita Siri have been improving all of these years. They've managed to be in the top 4 all these years. So we're still in the top 4, and despite the young boys coming in, still we managed to keep that winning form.
Tailevu will take on Naitasiri at 3 p.m. tomorrow at Ratu Dakumbo Park in Nosori. The match will air live on FBC Sports on the Walesi platform, and the live commentary will air on Bula FM and Radio Fiji 1. Tali Materkula, FBC Sports.
The transition from 7s to 15s has not been that difficult for Fiji 7s rep Meli Nderinalangi. The 21-year-old will debut for Suva tomorrow against Lautoka at Churchill Park. Aquila Dama reports.
Meli Nderinalangi has been playing for Navy in the Suva Club competition, and now he is rewarded with the number 7 jersey for tomorrow's match.
For me, it's a great opportunity to get back into 15s. Thanks for the coaches and management for Suva Rugby Union for having them trusting me to don the blue jersey this week and make my debut.
Training with some senior players has really helped the youngster.
For me, it's quite a great experience to get me where they are, trying to adapt myself to 15s. Thanks to those experienced players like Manasa Solo and Sirlen Tua, John Stewart.
Even though Suva has a relatively new-look side, the management is confident they can get the job done.
Right, we have a target for every week, and we're looking at all the boys, and we know that all the boys are capable. And when we name a team, we know that they will do the hard yards on every game.
Suva will play Lautoka at 3 p.m. at Churchill Park tomorrow. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Nemanja Nandolo made his presence felt on debut for the Leicester Tigers yesterday in their 13-7 victory over Albert Tuisue's London Irish. Lambasa football striker Siotame Kumbu believes Suva will be a changed team on Sunday compared to the one they played against in the Battle of the Giants tournament. Kumbu, who was part of the national training squad that broke camp today, says despite this, they are ready for the battle. Aquila Dama with the story.
The week-long national camp has been an eye-opener for many players, including Siotame Kumbu, and the Vodafone Premier League is where they'll practice what they learned.
Training here, yes, but some things are different. But with a new coach, we've really learned a lot, and by learning, we'll be trying to implement it in the ground on Sunday.
For Kumbu and Lambasa, Suva awaits them on Sunday.
Suva is we know they are going to come out hard on us, so I hope that the rest of the boys back at home are training well, and as we are doing our part over here. So come game day, we'll do our best.
However, Suva star Felipe Mbaravilala says Lambasa is the team to beat.
There's maybe 8 of Lambasa play here. Definitely we'll go back. I know the boys are training back in Suva. So this is a must win also for us. We won't take Lambasa lightly. At the end of the day, on Sunday, then we will work out for this game against Lambasa.
Suva will host Lambasa at the ANZ Stadium on Sunday at 3 p.m. You can hear the radio commentary of the match on Mirchi FM. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Athletics Fiji will kick off its weekly competitions from the 19th of next month. Its calendar had to be reviewed as many events were halted due to the pandemic. Vice President Chochi Linga says the resumption of competition will be a good opportunity for athletes to improve on their personal bests.
There's about 6 competitions confirmed for the coming months up to December here at the ANZ Stadium tracks. Please do utilize the opportunity that Athletics Fiji is offering. Unfortunately, we cannot go out as yet to other centers, but everything's centered around Suva for now as we strategize on how we can move out of Suva in beyond December.
The Parramatta Eels were thrashed 38-0 last night by the Rabbitohs. Eels coach Brad Arthur labelled the loss ordinary, but wasn't ready to hit the panic button after a largely impressive 15 rounds prior to the loss. In Play of the Day, we take a look at the top 5 plays from the NBA playoffs. That's it from sports tonight. In the world of the weird and wonderful, find out why Japan has installed transparent public toilets. There's some more coming up.
Hi, Bula. I'm Selai from Nadi. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
In new media, there are reports that Walmart will partner with Microsoft and the software maker's bid for ByteDance own TikTok. And Angie joins us now with the latest in weather.
Kia ora and welcome to the Weather World. It's been a wonderful Friday. Thank goodness for Friday. The weather was nice, warm and very welcoming. Perfect time to enjoy it with family and friends under the sun. Now moving on to other centers. In the west, it was very warm till late noon. It's still cooling off after the day's heat. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, clear sunny skies was throughout the corridor. There is no sign of any showers for the night. And up north, there is more cloud cover, but that changed to clearer spells. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Now turning to the tides, low tide at 8:49 p.m. with high tide at 3:07 a.m. Sunrise at 6:16. For tomorrow, more clearer spells for our Saturday. I bet there's lots of shopping to do. Tomorrow's temps, majority centers will have cool nights at 21 degrees. And looking further on to Sunday, here comes rain, but it won't be extreme, just few passing showers. So enjoy your last weekend for the month. That's all the weather news from my end. It's back to Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse, we asked, what do you think of Joe Rambele's appointment as the new Fiji Mbati coach?
He's one of the first Fijian to represent Fiji, the first team in this sport, the rugby league. And I think it's for him to take over from rugby league coach, I think it's quite a good decision. I think it's timely, and as far as rugby league sport is concerned, I think he got the knowledge and experience.
I am really happy that Joe Rambele has been appointed as the coach because he has a lot of skills and experience.
It is a good decision because he is Fijian, he can communicate well with the boys, and he is familiar with the sport.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, PM sets 30-year climate target. Alleged wife killer labeled violent person, and COVID-19 puts undue stress on health system. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, have you seen an ease in traffic congestion after road repairs along the Suvarnabhumi corridor? Visit our FBC website to answer. And on to our shot of the day, last one for the week, and how absolutely gorgeous it comes all the way from Matei in Taviuni, and this was captured by Choweli Nalodi. And you can send your pictures to email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News, and our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow from the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Modamanda.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.